Today I'm going to introduce you to two new terms right here, bisect and bisector. If we break this down, we see that bisect would mean two, bi means two, and sect means to cut. So bisect would mean that we're going to cut something into two different pieces. In math, we're very picky about this. We say that whatever we're cutting into two pieces is cut exactly in the middle, exactly in half. So those two pieces are exactly the same length. That will be very important in a minute when we calculate some lengths. So we have bisect to cut something into two equal pieces. Now our first question is to identify the bisector. That's the thing that is doing the cutting. So we can see that this segment RS is being cut by the line. There's a symbol right here that you need to know. This little hash mark right there means that these two are equal in length. So this is being cut exactly in half. That means that this is our bisector. There's a couple of different options that we have for this. We'll notice that there's a point M here right in the middle. There is a line that we have a couple of points on, and it also has a special name. So there's three possible answers to this. The bisector could be point M. It could be line MK. We've got the 2 points on the line. Put a line symbol above that. Now if you write it this way, you don't need the word line right there, so we'll just simplify it. And this line has a special name L, so we could also call it line L. Those would be the three possible choices for the bisector of RS. Right here, you'll notice that RS is being bisected this time by a ray. So a few different ways of writing this. We could say point M, again, is the bisector. Or we could write MA as the ray, being our bisector. Now there's a second question that'll go along with this. It'll ask you to calculate some lengths of this. And so that's where it comes into handy to know that these two are exactly the same length. I could ask you about various things. We'll go through a couple of different things. Our first one will say, what is the length of R to S? That would be RS. Now we know from here to here it's 17, and this section is exactly the same length as that one, so it is also 17. If we put those together, we get 17 plus 17 gives us a total of 34 units from R to S, so 34 units. Now be very careful on this. The question could ask you about RS from here to here, could ask you about MS from there to there, in which case it would just be 17. Could ask you from R to M, in which case it would be 17. So just pay very close attention to what it's asking you about right there. Now this one will take a little bit more work because you'll see that we don't have a number right here. We have some expressions right there. We know that this and this are exactly the same length though, so we can set them equal to each other. That is 3x plus 1 equals 8x minus 24. Now using this, we're going to figure out what the value is for x. We're going to plug it back in here. We're going to figure out the length of each of those so we can calculate the total length of whichever segment we're interested in. Let's solve for x. So we'll subtract 1. That gives us 3x equals 8x minus 25. Subtract that 8x to get those x terms together. We get negative 5x equals negative 25. And then we'll divide by negative 5 to get x equals positive 5. Let's plug that in here and here to see if we got it correct. So we get 3 times 5 plus 1. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 1, which gives us a total of 16. So this section right here is 16 units in length. Same thing right here. We're going to plug it in. We get 8 times 5 minus 24. 8 times 5 is 40. So we get 40 minus 24. That would give us 16. Just double checking, it should be cut exactly in half. So we've got 16 and 16. That confirms that we've cut it in half. So our calculations were correct here. If we want to find the length of RS, that would be the 16 plus the 16 for a total of 32 units. Again, be very careful To pay attention to what section we're talking about, if it was RM, that would just be 16. If it was MS, that would again be 16. RS, the total is 16 plus 16 or the 32. So pay careful attention to that, and thank you.